Hello, today I'm going to walk you through using image to keychain along with Bambu Studio to create some soap holders and designed plates. Some different information here along the way, but I'm just going to jump right into file. I will just grab the image I started with, which is this one. I used Copilot to generate this image. I don't do much on that first screen. There was no background, as you could see here, shown by the checkered area, so I could have unselected that and had the same thing. You may or may not want to remove that depending on your use case. You can see it detected several different colors. I'm just going to stick with 4 colors and it will try to match those. And from here, you can then color your image however you see fit. So one thing I will do is try to set these a little bit brighter to see what's what. Due to the fact I'm going to keep this 4 colors, I went with black legs instead of orange, and I reserved the orange really just for the beak. Well, should have left it like this. So, wasn't really thinking. It's been a long day. So now you can see I've got 4 colors, and then the next steps to process this really is going to plate and thickness. So here you can set the thickness and the image thickness. So the thickness is the overall thickness of the file here. So if I increase this to 5, you can see that file image become 5 millimeters thick. I did make a simple shape. My height, I believe, is 135, and width you can pick whatever you want. I'll go with 85 here. So this is roughly what I had. So you can have part of your image sticking off. And then from here, some things I want to point out. At this point, you could export this file as is. I've found roughly about 2 millimeter image thickness is pretty sufficient for me. So that's what we'll use. Let me the image thickness is how high this comes off of the plate here. For this instance, I'm printing face down, so it will actually embed that into the model. And then I am going to set this back to 2 millimeters, so everything is 2 millimeters thick. From here I can download and export this to a 3MF. You can also name your file before you export it, so that way you don't just have the draft file, but for now I will work with this one. taking a minute to load here. So I try to optimize and reduce the amount of color changes as much as possible when I create these. I'm using a X1, so let me select that. If you look at this file, you can see the colors are all the way through. So to reduce the amount of color changes, what I will do is actually paint the layers. So select it, go to color painting, by layers. I'm just going to put 2 millimeters for height range because I'm going to just leave basically the first 2 layers printing at 0.2 millimeters per layer, so 0.4. I'll be honest, I have not figured out the controls for this very well, but I'm going to start at 0.41, hit the check mark, and I should have had white selected because I do not want it to be red. But you can see now that I have only 2 layers of the rest of the colors. So that way I'm not doing color changes on every single layer over and over. So let me just fix that real quick. Okay. So now we have a model that will not have so many color changes of filament. If we slice the plate, we can see that in more detail. The other thing I change when I'm printing face down is I remove the ironing setting, since you won't see the back of this plate anyways. The area that would be ironed wouldn't even be seen. So there's no sense in taking the time to do that from my point of view. So this is down to an hour and 46, which will be reduced further as soon as I turn off the ironing setting here. And the other thing to make this file usable with the file I provided as a faceplate, we will go to Objects and we will import the slide feature. I have to go back to Prepare from Preview, and I will right click on the keychain, add a part, and these files are downloadable from the Makerworld site, and I will load the bracket only. The brackets are selected. I'll hold Shift. I will click the other file, and then you can use Y or go up to Assemble up here, and I'm going to assemble to this plane the skinny side of the brackets. I'll just do a center coincide for now, and then I can Go over to my objects, select just the bracket, select move, and I can get this up in place. You can drag it pretty darn close if you want and call it good. If I click off, you can see I'm pretty close. Another way to move it, if you don't want to try to drag it, if you click here, you can do move and look at the directional arrows. So I could move this in Y and just type in the value I need to try to increment this slightly closer to where I need to. And I went the wrong direction. We'll call that good. So now I've got that all assembled. You can see it's on the side there, and just like that we can slice the plate. The defaults came in with PLA, but I am printing with PETG. You can definitely use PLA if you want, even though it has a PETG profile. It will print just fine in my experience. I've printed many PLA profiles with PETG and vice versa, so this is just what I typically do a lot of printing with and have several colors, so that's kind of what I go with. If you have any questions, feel free to post them and I will try to answer them, but I hope you found this video helpful, and happy printing. Thank you.